Welcome to the Pokemon LeafGreen walkthrough and Nuzlocke. For those of you who don't know what a Nuzlocke is, it's basically a way to make the game more challenging as you play through it. So, the main two rules, first of all, if one of your Pokemon faints, it's considered dead and you have to release it. So that makes the game very challenging. And if that wasn't bad enough, the other rule is that when you go into a route, you can only catch the first wild Pokemon you find there. So it limits what Pokemon you can have on your team, and hopefully that'll make the game fun to play and fun to watch for you guys. So here we are, we're getting an introduction to the game. Hopefully you guys at least have some idea how to play Pokemon. It's been around for a while and you have to be living under a rock really not to know what to do in these games. But that said, this was my first game, so I really had no idea, and those buttons actually helped me out. It also says there you can press L and R to get help throughout the game. And here we are. We're being introduced to the game by Professor Oak. He is the Pokemon professor in this game, and basically he studies Pokemon for a living. Alright, so yeah, he just said that, and now we pick our gender. I'll pick boy for the walkthrough, and then we pick a name. So let's see, I'm gonna pick Sean, and no, that's not my real name, but figure I might as well pick something. And he introduces us to his grandson, who is also our rival. So he forgets his own grandson's name, and then expects us to remember it, even though he just introduced himself to us. So if we don't know him, how are we going to know his grandson? But I'm going to name him Gary, because Gary is always the rival's name. Alright, so we've taken care of that, and now we are transported into the in-game world. First things first, this is our room. Let's head over here. Open up the PC, withdraw an item. Right now there's just a potion in there. We can put stuff in there later, but that potion will probably come in handy, so it's important that we do that. And let's head downstairs. There are only 2 rooms in this house actually. This is our mom, but we're just kind of going to sneak past her, go off on our adventure with Pokemon, and basically never let her know we left. Good plan. So here we go. Oh, and we just got caught. So here once again is Professor Oak. So he says that we need a Pokemon to start our Pokemon adventure. Kind of makes sense, I guess. So he takes us back to his lab, and believe it or not, he's nice enough to just give us one of his Pokemon. There they are sitting on the table there. And here's Gary. You can tell right away he's kind of a jerk. And he only has 3 Pokemon left, so I don't know where the rest of them went, but yeah, after this he's only going to have 1. Alright, so we get to choose first, and actually before I forget, I should have told you guys this earlier, but I'm going to set text speed to fast. That lets you go through the game a lot faster. So like I said, this is a Nuzlocke, and I don't really think I should be able to pick any Pokemon. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at my trainer card, and the last number of my ID, if it's 1, 2, 3, like the Pokédex number of Bulbasaur and its evolutions, I'll pick Bulbasaur. If it's 4, 5, or 6, like Squirtle and its evolutions, I'll pick Squirtle. Or 7, 8, or 9, I'll pick Charmander. If it's a 0, I'll just decide myself. Honestly, I'm kind of hoping right now not to get Charmander, just because those time for weaknesses that it'll eventually have. They're going to make it kind of hard to keep him alive the whole game, and I'd really like not to lose my starter. So let's see. 4, looks like we are getting Charmander. Alright. Yeah, Charmander. Charmander is number 4. Okay. Yeah, that was... Alright, so we have Charmander. Let's see, I haven't really thought about our nickname. Wow, it's a female. You don't see that too often, actually. Let's see, actually, I think I'm gonna name all my Pokemon after Greek gods. So, Charmander, Charmander will be Zeus. Although that doesn't really make sense because Zeus was about lightning and stuff. Actually, let's make Charmander Ares. Ares was like the god of war, so I guess fire goes with war and stuff, right? Although Ares was actually a guy god. Alright, let's make Charmander Hera. She was like the queen of the gods. There we go. Okay. So Gary will always take the Pokemon that has a type advantage over yours. So in this case, he'll take Squirtle. And that last Pokemon just kind of sits there throughout the entire game. Nothing ever really happens to it. Kind of feel bad for it. His last Pokemon. So Gary thinks his Pokemon's all tough and stuff. Alright, we don't really care. And actually, he's gonna battle us. So here we go, first battle. And remember, if you lose all your Pokemon, you lose the challenge in Nuzlocke. So if I lose this battle, since I only have one Pokemon, then the challenge is over. So Oak kind of tells you how to battle. Basically, in this particular battle, just keep using your damaging move. Charmander's got Scratch. Eventually, it should hopefully take your opponent out. And if not, well, that's why we've got the potion. You have to be kind of careful to end the battle before Tail Whip and stuff get too powerful. After it uses enough of those, when it uses Tackle or whatever it knows, that'll do a whole lot of damage, but we should be alright. Uh-oh, and we just got lucky there, it missed. So right off the bat, we're off to a really solid start here. Yeah, it's not even doing that much to us, considering that our defense is halved right now, and we just won without even using the potion. And grew a level, can't complain about that. So yeah, we got prize money for beating him. And he just kind of wants to smell us later, I guess. Oh well, we're gonna just ignore Professor Oak there and kind of just leave. Let's see, I don't actually remember. Oh yeah, your Pokemon gets healed right back up. So yeah, let's head out onto the first route. I should mention that since I don't have any way to catch Pokemon yet, if I see Pokemon here, then they won't count towards the one encounter for this route. And here's one that we would have caught. A Pidgey. So the only Pokemon available in this route are Pidgey and Rattata. Both of them are alright. Neither one's super strong, but really either one would be a pretty good choice for this. Alright, and here we are. We made it through with only one wild encounter. We're in the next city, Viridian City. So, right away we'll see some new buildings here. This is the Pokemon Center. It's really handy. You can go in here, talk to the lady behind the counter, and she'll heal all your Pokemon for free. So yeah, that's pretty helpful. The other thing I guess I should mention here is the Pokemart. You can usually buy items, but in this case, this guy's actually going to talk to us, and he's going to tell us to take Oak's parcel back to him. So I guess let's just get that out of the way right now. We'll come back up here in a minute though. But I want to start catching some more Pokemon, and well, that's how we do it, is by delivering this parcel actually. You can hop these ledges, and that'll get you back to Pallet Town pretty quickly with limited wild encounters. One other thing I want to mention about the Nuzlocke is that there's a lot of Pokemon in this game, like Lapras and Hitmonlee, that you can actually get for sure, because they're given to you, but I'm not going to use those because I don't think you should be able to predict what Pokemon you're going to get in a Nuzlocke. So anyway, let's deliver the parcel. The custom Pokeball. Well, we don't really get to find out what that is. It kind of just never plays another part in the story. But anyway, here's Gary. This time he's the late one. Alright, so here he is going to give us the Pokédex. This basically is like the culmination of his lifelong research. It contains information about every Pokemon in the game, and it'll record more as we find them and catch them. He also just gave us 5 Pokeballs to start catching some Pokemon with. So he wanted to make a complete guide to every Pokemon in the world. That's what the Pokédex does. And he's too old now to finish that dream, so we just got to complete it for him, since he's already spent his entire life looking at or completing this himself. It probably shouldn't be too hard for us, or so you'd think. Actually, if we open it up, it is completely blank. The only things in here are the Pokemon we've seen. So after his whole life of researching Pokemon, we've already done more than he has. But oh well. I guess it'll be a little bit harder actually. Actually, that's probably like the hardest thing to do in this game, is completing the Pokédex. Now we can also head in here, talk to Gary's sister, and she'll give us a town map. That lets us see all the cities and towns that we can go to, so that'll be pretty handy if you don't already know where you're going. Now let's head back up. Let's see, here's our first Pokemon. This is one we have to catch, Rattata. Honestly, I'd probably rather have had Pidgey, I'm not gonna lie, but take what you can get, right? I don't really want to risk getting a critical hit right now. I'm just going to throw another Pokeball. Hopefully this will catch it. You can buy more of these later on, so and they're pretty cheap too, so even if this doesn't catch it, I'm not too worried. But it looks like we got it. Okay, so here is Rattata. I'm not really sure how much I'm going to be using this actually, but let's see, a nickname for Rattata. Yes, Alright, I'm going to name Rattata Janice. Janice was the goddess of beginnings. And since this is the beginning of the adventure, it's kind of fitting. Alright, so that's all the Pokemon we can catch on this route. But we can still train against these wild ones here. Grow another level here, that's always nice. And we learned Ember, that's a strong fire type move. And actually, I'm sorry guys, I forgot one thing. If you go talk to this guy, he'll give you another potion. Saves you 300 yen in the end, which isn't a whole lot, but you can't complain. Free items are always nice, so we'll get all the ones we can in this walkthrough. Alright, back in Viridian City, and actually I'm also going to check the natures of these Pokemon. Careful, gentle. Honestly, I don't even really know what either of those do. I'm assuming gentle probably reduces attack, but I feel like it might be one of those ones that isn't what it sounds like. Anyway, nature like modifies stats a little bit, increases one and decreases another most of the time. Yeah, so you want natures that boost the Pokemon stats that you're using the most, but I don't think that'll be too bad with those natures. I don't really know what they do though, honestly. Anyway, a couple other things we can do in this city. First of all, we're going to head over here and walk behind here. This will get us another item. And then if we head up here, we can talk to this old guy here. And just out of nowhere, he's gonna have a wild Pokemon appear and show us how to catch it. Hopefully you guys saw what I did, and you'll be able to do that now. But yeah, basically throwing a Pokeball gives you a chance to catch a Pokemon. You never know it since I've only used one Pokeball and I caught a Pokemon with it. But it can break free. You reduce its chance of breaking free by lowering the Pokemon's HP and inflicting it with status like paralysis and sleep. But yeah, basically that's how you do it. You just go into the bag and throw a Pokeball. And then he gives us the TGTV. That's just like an item that'll tell you more stuff if you don't know how to play the game. And there's a lot of that stuff in this game because this is a remake of the first game ever, so they kind of assume that people didn't really know anything when they were playing it. So now we can finally buy stuff from the Pokemart, including Pokeballs, potions, antidotes, and paralyzed heals. Those are nice. We'll probably need those, but I'm not going to buy any. I'm just going to buy some more Pokeballs because I only get one chance at catching a Pokemon per route, like I said. So I don't want to miss that chance. Alright, and that's actually just about everything for Viridian City. Later on we can come back, cut this tree down, learn a move, do some fishing. If we head over here, we'll get to Route 22. This is where we'll eventually go to the Pokemon League and challenge them. For now, there's not much here. If you go up, you can challenge your rival. But we're probably not ready for that yet. I'd be careful not to go too far up, since he's too strong for us right now. And then, of course, we can find another Pokemon since this is a new route. So the Pokemon available on this route are Rattata, Spearow, and Mankey. Rattata and Mankey are the most common, and Mankey and Spearow are both pretty useful. Mankey is the first fighting type we can find in the game. Spearow is like Pidgey, it's a normal and flying type. And I should note that I'm not going to be employing the species clause, which basically says that if you see a Pokemon that you've already caught, you can instead capture the next Pokemon. So if I find another Rattata, I'm going to be pretty dang mad, but it is what it is if that's what happens. Alright, so let's find out what our second Pokemon is. If any wanna... There we go. Alright, that's actually what I was hoping for, is a Mankey. So, I'm going to be really careful not to knock this thing out. And also, Leer is pretty dangerous. Mankey's a really strong attacker. I want to be careful not to have it knock me out. I mean, that didn't do too much damage, and I'm not going to hit it again in case I get a critical hit. I'll just throw a Pokeball. Alright, got another one. I'm sure getting a lot of females. Let's see. Okay, I know it's a girl, but I'm gonna name it Pastis, or however you pronounce that. I don't even know, actually. Basically, he was like a really strong god, god of the forge. Whoops. Dang it. That's not what I wanted to do. Sorry. Okay, I actually did it right that time. Alright, now we'll head back and heal up. And actually, I think I'm going to end this first section now. We've done quite a bit. Next time we're going to head up above the city to Route 2 and then the Viridian Forest. And we're also going to take on our rival again. So that'll all be pretty fun. I guess I will see you guys then. Thanks for watching and stay tuned.